Welcome to the Bible Knowledge Workshop for episode number 16. In our last episode together, we concluded the 14th of the 17 time periods, which comprised of all of the Old Testament, including the 400 years of divine silence. And since that covered a lot of time and a lot of material, we were challenged to put to memory a lot of biblical facts and lists. Now we need to spend a little time to review, to make sure that we've learned these Bible facts and we understand when they have happened. To help us in that, you can go to our website at bumby.org. Click on Resources, and then choose Study Materials. And that'll take you to this page of our website where you can view, download, and print the Old Testament quiz questions that we've been putting to memory, as well as a copy of the Old Testament questions with the answers. You also can view and print an Old Testament timeline. It'll help you to see the sequence of events. We'll talk more about that timeline in just a moment. One of the key elements that we've been trying to put to memory to help us understand the Bible story and when these events happened is this list of the 17 time periods. To help us understand the Bible story, we've divided it into 17 time periods. And if you'll put this list to memory, it'll help you be able to understand when each event and character happened, as well as be able to see it as a part of the complete story of the Bible. Let's review and say the 17 time periods together. Before the flood, flood, scattering of the people, patriarchs, exodus from Egypt, wandering in the wilderness, invasion and conquest of Canaan, judges, united kingdom, divided kingdom, Judah alone, captivity, return from captivity, years of silence, life of Christ, early church, and letters to the Christian. Have you been able to put this list to memory? If not, are you working on it? One of the other resources that we've made available is this Old Testament timeline, where you can see that beginning with the creation and concluding with the 400 years of silence, that many of the major characters and events of the Old Testament are put in their sequential order. And understanding and even memorizing this timeline will again help you to understand the Bible story. Here's another version of that might be a little bit easier for us to see as we study together. But let's look at the Bible story in the Old Testament via this timeline. Of course, the story begins with creation. Adam, then Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then the Egyptian bondage, followed by Moses and the exodus from Egypt. Next on our timeline is the giving of the law and the wilderness wanderings. And then the children of Israel enter Canaan. We have the period of the judges, followed by the united kingdom with the kings of Saul, David, and Solomon. But now the kingdom is divided between Israel in the north, with its capital in Samaria, and Judah in the south, and its capital in Jerusalem. Because of their idolatry and wickedness, Israel is taken away into Assyrian captivity, leaving Judah alone. But then Judah follows suit and is taken away into Babylonian captivity. Our timeline resumes when those captives return from exile, and the temple that had been destroyed is now being rebuilt. There's a second return, and then the wall of Jerusalem is rebuilt. And the Old Testament story concludes with the prophet Malachi addressing Israel's indifference toward God and their worship of God, followed by 400 years of divine silence. We've studied that time period and tried to put to memory several of these key events and lists. And let's use this time to review those quiz questions and memory work. Let's do one review before we conclude. Have you memorized the books of the Old Testament? Or maybe you need to refresh your memory. And so let's say them together. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Download and print those quiz questions and spend some time reviewing these 17 time periods, these biblical facts and lists that we're trying to put to memory to help us understand and learn and to teach others the Bible story. Thanks for joining us in the Bible Knowledge Workshop, where we're learning Bible facts and when they happened.